Go on YouTube, just show me how to age. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing. I'm just gonna tell you a story that needs to be told. And I know usually I do more stories about what happens in our community, but this is something that touched my heart because I grew up in a big family, and I have a lot of nieces and nephews, great nieces and nephews about this boy's age, and it's just something that kind of breaks my heart. This is Adam Toledo. And Adam Toledo was murdered by Chicago PD. And it's just the mistakes of that. No, I won't call it mistakes. The bad decisions that as a young boy you make. And he was 13 years old when he died, and this was March 29th, and this was only barely a month ago. And they right there in a little village, which is a Mexican community, the south side of no, actually the west side of Chicago. They were protesting, and uh, they put out the video, and this is Adam, and he was being chased by Officer Stillman. Yes, I want you to know his name, because if you're in Chicago area, and if you can call the local PD in that precinct, Eric Stillman, and he was the officer who chased after young Adam. You know, and the police, as you know, they always do this. They hinge their wagons around the officer, even though he's supposed to be doing his job. I didn't say he's doing your job. You didn't say he's doing your job, but you shot a 13-year-old child. And he didn't have a weapon in his hand. Now, Adam was hanging out with an older gentleman, or I was sorry, not older boy, 21-year-old Roman Rubin. I think that's his name. And Roman was shooting a gun, and what he did was instead of you know taking the gun out of the boy's hand and taking the hitch for himself, being a man, he probably let the boy have the gun. And this is the boy run with it, and the officer believed that Adam had the gun in his hand, but Adam threw the gun. And if you saw the picture, the slide I showed, Adam's hands were empty, but he shot him anyway. Now, the mayor of Chicago, Lightfoot, she's really trying to tell people, she's trying to convince people to be, calm down, try to, be peaceful. She's trying to get this investigation. She's the first black mayor of Chicago, and she's double dipping. She's first black male mayor of Chicago. Also, she's a lesbian. I know it's not important, but you got to point that out because generally, she made history. And she's trying to, as you know, Chicago's go through a lot. There's been a lot of shoots and murders, especially in our community, in the black community of Chicago. But this is also, what's happening on also both sides of the communities. It happens in Spanish communities. It's happening in black communities. It's not happening in up in the suburbs where a lot of white people live because the fact is they're not shooting each other. But like I said, Adam was just 13 years old, a little boy. 13, you just excuse my language, your balls just dropped and you hadn't even bust a grape yet, you know. And I think being in that, neighborhood, depending, it's about proximity. I'm always hearing people about, black on black crime and but here's this. Crime happens when you live in the same neighborhood with the same people. White and white crime happens. You know why? Don't talk about white and white crime because white people make the majority of this country. How many times has a man murdered his wife or, something like that? Or you hear stories of guys going mass murdering their families. And that happens more times in white communities than in black or Hispanic communities. I feel my heart goes out to his family. I truly do. Because, it's not recently we had that shooting in Minnesota. I should be talking about that, but I get enough of that, But this here is a child, and that's why I need to pay attention. This needs attention. This is 13 years old, and this takes me back to Tamir Rice, who was 11 years old, playing with a toy gun. Police officer stops. Don't even say, "Hey, son, you mind putting that down?" He just shot him, And I know Chicago, there's, I think there's a lot of support. I think even, I'm not sure, but maybe also Black Matters might be involved because, Black Matter will help extend out their hands to our tan brothers and sisters. As you know, many people who are of Hispanic descent are also mixed race. You talk about Mexican nationality. Hispanic is not a race; it's like a culture, and many people of Hispanic descent also are mixed with black. As you know, Spain was the biggest, colonizers that part of the country. You know, and they also were the biggest slave. Um, you know, they big, really big in slavery. And they sold a lot of slaves, especially around the Caribbean, and also the history of slaves when Texas was one of the few states to try to fight against ending slavery. A lot of slaves crossed the river between Texas and Mexico and went over there. But if you look at this picture, this is a 13-year-old boy with his hands up, nothing in his hands. He turned around. The officer said, "Turn around." He turned around, watched the video, and knows it's I probably put in the description if when I finish this video, it's heartbreaking. And when I saw it, I quite literally cried because I'm thinking he has not yet finished to grow up. Like I said again, he had not enjoyed the life of being a boy, to grow up, have fun. And what he did was, I'm not gonna say a mistake. Don't call it a mistake. Mistakes is, you can correct a mistake. This was a bad decision he did. He was hanging around with the wrong person. You don't hang out with somebody who's older than you, unless he's just your older brother or he's your uncle, somebody you just, going with him someplace. But, with a gun, like I said, I grew up in the country and my brother taught us how to shoot guns. So he was older than me. He was only like 6 years older than me. And he taught us how to shoot guns. But that was out there in the backyard. We learned how to, shoot. But kids in this big city, it's just sometimes a different situation. Sometimes they try to get in a gang, or sometimes it's just, they want to prove themselves something. And it looked like he was a nice kid, honestly. And I think, the people are giving condolences to Adam and to remember him. But he looked like he was a nice kid. He looks, if I look at him, he looked like he's 13. He looked like he's almost 10. Kids nowadays, you know, it's just, and I feel so bad for his parents, his mother, his father, any of his other family, his brothers and sisters, he has any, or anybody in his family that, it's just hard to lose somebody you love, especially a child. I don't have any children, like I said, and if I did, this would break my heart. No man should bury his child before him. I like movies, and I like to quote Denzel Washington, John Q. I ain't gonna bury my son. My son supposed to bury me, and that's the fair truth of it. No parent should bury their child before their time. So, like I said, I'm gonna put the information in the description. Probably find. I know I can find the video. It's just go all the way. It's most of the time you got to be careful. You can probably all you can do is like you can go to certain sites. You can probably find a full video where the officer actually shot the boy. Because most networks will not show it because that's too graphic, but they will show certain things when they feel like it's not involving them. But this is a child, and it just breaks my heart. It truly does. It truly do. I just and sometimes I just couldn't help but just draw a tear for him because the last thing he saw in this world was this police officer shooting him, and I know the last thing he was thinking. He probably said like this, like George Floyd said, "Mama, mama," or "Madre, madre." I don't know, Lord. It's just we gotta like this. This country has to. We gotta put our dogs on a chain. That's what police are. They're dogs on a chain. We need to realize the dogs should not ever bite the hand that feed them.